someone's broken the door in with an axe by the look of it. Damn! Looks as though Tom has been here. Ugh. God damn it. There are some things you just don't want to see. I'd better get out of here.
Rain, rain, go away. Tomorrow will be a rainy day.
Damn.
Then comes the snow. Don't you know?
Ralph? That you? Ralph!
I was only playing with him.
Ralph! What happened? Am I hearing voices of the dead? Or was that really Ralph? Ralph has got his revenge. Strange. It's never been so quiet here before.
Adrian! It's done. Case closed. Angelina's letter convinced the judge completely.
Some good news.
A lot more than that. And is there anything I can do for you?
Any new developments in the Tom case?
None. That piece has disappeared. Not even Bobby's seen anything of him.
Would it affect your transfer if you found him?
What a question. Of course it would. The faster the... Hey, you've not just...
Well, if I were you, when it stops raining, I'd get myself over to the shack in the woods, over at Warm Hill, and take a closer look around.
Ha! Have you actually found his hiding place? If things get too boring for you up at the castle, I could do with a good constable.
Thanks, but I've had to answer to a higher calling. Now with the case closed, all of the pieces of evidence are no longer required, right?
In theory, not anymore, no.
Then it wouldn't be a problem if I got the bracelet back. You do know that it's a family heirloom.
I'll see what I can do.
Thanks.
Zach!
Hmm? Please.
How's it looking with your transfer?
Now that's lying on my boss's desk. And knowing him like I do, he's gonna let me stew for a while. But it'll come through sooner or later.
Goodbye.
Fare thee well, my lord.
I'll just leave him in peace for now. Valentina.
Yes.
Here, it was really easy.
Those really are the same stones. Now we just need to break one out without damaging it.
A whole load of photos of my family, with a grave candle in front of them. And then what have we got here? A pair of pliers. I'll take those and the candle. I don't need the other stuff right now. One ruby's enough. I wouldn't know what I might ask her.
The ruby fits exactly into the socket on the hilt of the sword.
There's a spiral staircase here. I can't see how far down it goes. It has to be a good few stories. Ladies first.
Are you scared? Or are you exercising your role as lord of the manor?
The Guardian isn't allowed to die. Those were your words. I'm just playing it safe. That's supposed to be the catacombs? Looks like the sewer system.
Patience. This is just the beginning. That's most strange. What are Pictish glyphs doing here on English medieval walls? The house in connection with an amphora. That could mean a store. Amphoras were used back then like barrels are today. An earlier version of a torch, and I've never seen this symbol before. A bird usually represents the death of a person, and we've got a head which fits with this, from whoever. The fish is the symbol for the first day after a new moon. With a hand, though? That doesn't make sense. The house in a circle. That's a new one for me. That could point to a family property or inheritance. Death on its own without any other glyphs isn't a good sign. There's standing water throughout the whole drainage system. Maybe the outflow's blocked somewhere. A swimming pool for cellar ghosts? I don't understand why that's supposed to be here. The chain comes out of the shaft and disappears into the water. The chain comes out of the shaft. Adrian? These symbols look like Pictish glyphs. Obviously an ancient form of writing, more than 6,000 years old. So I'm wondering what business have they got being on these walls?
Maybe one of my ancestors thought they looked nice? Do you know what they mean?
Sort of. But don't ask me how you vocalize them. Looks like we're in a dead-end street.
But it can't be, though. It has to continue somewhere. Maybe there's another secret passage.
Certainly not out of the question. Keep your eyes open.
There are hieroglyphics etched all around here. Did the Druids build these walls? Here's an illustration of a house and a jar. Here's a pitchfork and a flower. There's a bird and a head chiseled in here. There's a fish and a hand on this column. I think that's supposed to be a house or a shack. In this environment, there can only be a whirlpool. Huh, the water's been standing there for some time. I reckon that's the remains of the water from putting out the fire. At any rate, it's not normal sewage. A hefty chain. It's hanging into the water. A bird relief. I wouldn't know what I might ask. A power socket, but does it have an electricity supply? The bucket is half full of a white salt, probably for when it's icy. I'll take a handful of grit salt with me, just in case I have to help some old grandma cross an icy street. I won't be able to see a thing down there. I should get myself some light first. A candle for the dead. Empty. I'm guessing that they used to store wine or beer here back in the day. Those days are long gone, though. There's a thick electric cable hanging from the roof, just above a puddle of water. Craig was right. It isn't safe down here. Boxes of empty wine bottles. Just in case there's a life for me after Mordred, I'm gonna give this castle a real cleanup and throw it all of this old junk. Well, I'll hand the job over to Edward, of course. There are only busted boxes and barrels back there. I guess that's the main switch for the electricity in the cellar. Who needs fuses if you've got such a big lever? Okay, Mordred. Ever put your fingers in a socket? There's a hell of a lot of juice. It's not gonna give me any more light. I'll turn the electricity off again. Cellars are often used as the last resting place for all sorts of heavy junk. And it's no different in British castles. At first glance, there's nothing useful leaping out at me here. At the second one, too. There are metal grates lying around the well. No idea what they're for. I need more light. Valentina! Can you hear me?
Yes.
That's the water pump, which they use to pump away the extinguishing water. It's a real monster, and ancient, too. I'm surprised that thing even works. I need more light. You can turn the pump on and off with that. You can even adjust the direction of rotation and the speed. Theoretically, I could pump the cellar full of water again, slowly or quickly. Nothing's happening. I need more light. I need more light. No idea what kind of pipes those are. Water, or sewage, I guess. There are 2 huge water basins here. They must go back to when they had no running water. I need more light. I need more light. There are metal grates lying around the well. There are drains under the puddles, but the sewer system couldn't cope with the huge volume of extinguishing water. The water isn't draining away anymore. A shelf of wine bottles. As far as I can tell, they're all still full. 1953. Either extremely valuable or completely disgusting. A construction light, just like the ones all around the castle, except without any power. So now I've got the option to connect something up down there. A construction light, just like the ones all around the castle, except without any power. Here's the end of the extension cable. Energy. If it weren't for me being a former student of physics, I'd call that kind of action suicide. Now, the end of the cable's hanging directly in the water. There are drains under the puddles, but the sewer system couldn't cope with the huge volume of extinguishing. Must be a seriously heavy water bucket if you need a chain like that to lift it. I don't think that the pump will suck up a metal chain. Valentina! Can you hear me?
Yes?
There are metal grates lying around the well. The wire rope is wrapped tightly around the pipe. I guess it's an earth for the water pump. I think that's the power connection for the water pump. I guess there were no power plugs back then. Oh, that's just one pole. Does this thing use direct current? So that thing on the pipes isn't an earth. It's probably the second pole. Quite a clear design. The motor's on the right, the pump device is on the left. The two are connected with a long shaft. I'll put the cable into the connecting terminal on the pump. The innards of a water pump. The power cable is now hanging through the grill and straight into the water. If I wrap the chain around the drive shaft, I could use the water pump as a winch. I hope the motor's powerful enough. I'll tie the rope to the column here and let it down the shaft. The electricity is on. I should be careful where I step and what I touch. I'll give the pepper and chilies a miss. The puddle's seasoned enough. There are drains under the puddle. can't wind the chain anymore. Something's blocked.
What are you up to? I'm impressed.
My improvised chain winch. I'm quite proud of it. My improvised... I wouldn't know what I might ask her. The well shaft leads directly down to the catacombs. There's a rope hanging in the well. There are drains under the pot. Damn, and I thought I'd pulled the plug out of the bath. What the heck's a cage doing down here in the middle of the catacombs? Valentina,
Yes.
what do you think's going on with this cage?
I don't think that's a cage in the usual sense.
How come? Isn't it a wonderful torture device, especially with the water?
Oh, right. So that's your interpretation of a normal cage usage.
Don't forget, I'm being possessed by an 800-year-old tyrant. I've hung the rope into the well.
What are you thinking of doing with the rope?
When I pull on it, you turn on the winch up there and let me down. When I'm running out of air down there, I'll pull again and you winch me back up.
I think I can manage that.
Good to know. I could lock up unwelcome visitors in here.
It really would have been better to have taken a hotel room.
I wouldn't know what I might ask.
There's nothing to discuss. Adrian, are you down there?
Sorry, you must have dialed the wrong well.
I'll wait on Adrian's signal.
Here's an illustration of a house and a jar. Here's a pitchfork and a flower. There's a bird and a head chiseled in here. There's a fish and a hand on this column. I think that's supposed to be a house, or a shack. A bird relief. Okay, hold your breath. That was close. It's just getting better and better here.
Adrian? Adrian! Is everything alright?
Yeah, everything's fine. I'm okay. Just a little touch and go, that's all.
Is everything really? Wow. I've never seen anything like this. Isn't that just so impressive?
Well, I'm so glad you like my humble wine cellar.